Well, Governor John Kasich is set to speak at the DNC tonight. The two-term Republican governor of Ohio and longtime critic of the president is on the deck to speak this evening, this primetime event. We'll take a listen to what the former governor said about his speech this morning.
Yeah, I can't give you too many nuggets. It's really not that long, but it's an opportunity to say to people that everything in life doesn't revolve around your political party, that it's okay to take off a partisan hat if you think it's for the good of the country. And, part of the reason I'm doing this, Wolf, is we all sit around and talk about how we like bipartisanship until we see it, and then we don't like it so much.
All right. Well, to discuss, let's bring in our company radio host, Joe Pags, and Republican strategist and former chairwoman of the Massachusetts Republican Party, Jennifer Nassour. Welcome.
Thanks
for having us.
All right, guys, the lineup of folks tonight is you got Kasich, you got Susan Molinari, Meg Whitman. These are not conservative stalwarts, right? These are probably people more towards the middle. Do you think, Jennifer, that this would have any effect on mainstream Republican voters?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that a lot of those names are names from the past. They're not names that are really household names at this point. And I mean, it's interesting to see that they're going to be on the stage, but at the end of the day, what are they doing? Is it just a vote against Trump, or are they really for Biden? And I think that Republican voters and voters in general are smart enough to answer that question.
Joe, the thing that I thought was interesting about what Kasich said in that clip that we played is I don't look at that as bipartisanship. I view that as abandoning your party. Bipartisanship is saying, I want to cut taxes. You want to cut taxes 20%. I want to cut taxes 10. Let's find out if we can work somewhere in the middle. That's bipartisanship, working together. Abandoning your party and your principles and your candidate to go over to the other side is like being a political traitor. That's much different what he's doing.
I could not agree with you more. I was at the convention in Cleveland in 2016, and it was really embarrassing that he didn't show up in his own state. He was the governor. He was mad at Trump. I guess he thought there would be some sort of a brokered convention and he'd have a chance to get the nomination, which was really kind of ridiculous. But you're right. I mean, bipartisanship is where you make a deal. You compromise. You get something done for the American people or your district or your state, and you get it done by reaching across the aisle. John Kasich has turned his back on his own value system. What exactly is it that Biden and Harris are presenting that John Kasich likes better than what the president's agenda is? There can't be anything. Even if he hates the president, he must agree with him on 90% of the issues because he's conservative and he's doing what John Kasich alleged he would have done had he become the president. This is just somebody who's personally mad at the guy or something. And again, I believe it was an embarrassment to not show up at your own convention in your own state.
Well, Jennifer, we're expecting for Kasich to actually endorse Biden tonight in his speech. He alluded to that earlier today. Does this help him or hurt him?
Well, I don't know what John Kasich's plans are in the future, but if he plans to run for president, he should plan to do exactly what Bloomberg did and go run as a Democrat and get out of the Republican spectrum, because this is really going to hurt him a lot. I don't know what he's doing. I totally agree with Joe. He makes so much sense. I mean, bipartisanship is working together to get something done, not abandoning your party. And I cannot imagine what he sees for himself. Maybe he thinks he's going to get an ambassadorship.
I actually think, to your point, Jennifer, he can't run for condo president right now. That's it. You've shown that you will sell out for anything. The thing that I think is interesting among all these speakers, and I'll be interested to see if any of them say it tonight, is I think they all have a problem with Trump's style. If you are a true conservative, if you are a Republican, this president has delivered, whether you're talking about economic policies, social policies, foreign policy, all the things that Republicans and conservatives have talked about, the president's delivered. What they have a problem with is his style. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what they say tonight, because anyone who's a true conservative and says that they are endorsing Joe Biden and Kamala Harris tonight is endorsing a far left, extreme, progressive, socialist view that should be antithetical to anyone on the right. Am I right, Joe Pags?
Well, absolutely. Now, keep in mind, John Kasich and these pseudo-conservatives or pseudo-Republicans are going to be on the same stage as Bernie Sanders They agree with Bernie Sanders, for God's sakes. And Gretchen Whitmer, who's been the tyrant of Michigan during this entire COVID thing. Remember, you can go boating, but not with a motor. You can go and buy marijuana, but you can't go and go to church, or you can't go visit your second house if you've got 2 houses in Michigan. John Kasich is now aligning himself with these people, which doesn't make any sense. And you didn't ask, but let me just throw this out. The person we're going to watch tonight, I think, is going to be the most charismatic and make the most difference will be Michelle Obama. I think Michelle Obama is going to make a huge difference tonight because the others are just sort of also rans. I mean, Bernie Sanders isn't charismatic. Neither is John Kasich. Neither is Gretchen Whitmer. Neither is Amy Klobuchar. But you've got Michelle Obama, who truly is loved by many people in America, who might be able to get your attention. The others, I don't think so.
Jennifer, how about you?
So hold on. I was going to say, Jennifer, what do you think?
Who do you think we're going to be talking about tomorrow?
I think it's going to be Michelle Obama. I totally agree, because here's the thing with Michelle Obama. Not only is she loved and people look up to her and, as the first Black family in the corner office there, but even more important is that she needs to protect the Obama legacy. And that is going to be her job, because they served with Biden. So she needs to make sure that Biden is not going to lose. And this is really going to hinge on her. And I think the one problem that's going to happen is that I think she's going to focus on the historic nature of Kamala being the first Black vice presidential candidate, which is great. However, there is no election in America that has ever been won because of a vice presidential candidate.
Yeah,
right.
But I would argue that this is different than normal because we have potentially the oldest president ever in history. Sean, real quick, who do you think is going to make news tomorrow?
I mean, I think it's going to be a tie between Obama and Kasich. I think the media desperately wants to. They're going to want to talk about Kamala Harris for exactly the reasons that Jennifer and Joe both said. But I also think that John Kasich is going to get a lot of attention because he plays into the media narrative, and they're so desperate to make this ticket look moderate that they want to be able to show a Republican endorsing the ticket, and that plays exactly into what they thought. So, I think that that's where they want to keep Kasich part of this dialogue. So, we'll see.
Yeah. Joe, Jennifer, thanks so much for being here. Appreciate your insights.
You're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, still to come, we're speaking with the president of the Center for Family and Human Rights. We'll ask him how Catholics are going to respond to Senator Harris's record on abortion next.